How's everyone doing? All right, well, one of the things that I think about is when I was in foster care, there was 2 points in my life where I felt like they were the hardest, at this point in my life, I feel like were the hardest times in my life. And that's when I entered care, and that's when I exited the care. The reason is because there was a lot of things I didn't know I was getting myself into when I, reached these two transitional parts of my life. When I entered care, it was just, I remember the first day, coming into the house and meeting everybody and, smiling, even though I didn't really know what to expect and things like that. But then when, it was time to go to bed and lay down at night, I had this feeling, this overwhelming feeling of just, fear, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, what each day would have brought. And so it was kind of the same thing when I emancipated from foster care also, because, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know who was going to be in my corner. I didn't know how many people were, going to give me up because it's the end of their job or whatever the case may be. And so I can honestly say the biggest thing that since I've been out of care has been a mentor. People that have came into my life, and the Attorney General Mike DeWine said, it doesn't necessarily have to be financial. It could be advice on, things you're going through, advice on school, relationships, anything, because a lot of times, the relationships we've seen were dysfunctional sometimes. And so to have somebody there to say, what you're accustomed to, what you've been used to is not how you have to, how you have to reciprocate those feelings to other people in relationships. Definitely when I emancipated care, our youth advisory board can tell you I'm like a definite advocate for, housing for emancipated youth. When I exited care, my foster mom, I was like almost 110% sure that she would have kept me after, I emancipated from foster care. She did not for whatever reasons. I didn't, when she told me she wasn't, I didn't say, why is that? In your head it's just like, yeah, whatever, once again. And so at that point I had to kind of think of what were my next steps? What was I going to do? How was I going to do it? Because I definitely was going to college, and I definitely, wanted to get my own place and, work and things like that to provide for myself. And so, I ended up, moving back with my mother. Didn't necessarily want to do that, but, where else could I go? Shortly after that, I got my own place. And this is a funny thing, because a lot of times, people, think once a kid emancipates from care, if they get a place to live and they have a job, that everything's okay, that, the system did their job and things like that. And a lot of the responsibility does, fall on the kids sometimes, but I think the biggest thing was, it was about 4 or 5 years after I emancipated, I did end up homeless for a time. And, I was still working and I was still in school, but I was homeless. And so it's just, I guess when people, we all know that foster youth have different stigmas they have to fight through. And I think, sometimes when they hear foster youth ended up homeless, they often think that, this kid did something wrong, or is still doing things wrong, or they don't have a job, or they're not going to school, or they're not being productive. And that's not the case. So many kids, are still in school and working and just don't have places to go. So definitely, I think everything that, the Ohio Attorney General's office is doing with, the symposiums and, with the board. I'm not often nervous when I speak, but I see a lot of people behind me that I know. So I'm trying to keep it together, but I definitely think there's some good people on this board that will make all the right decisions. I really feel like it can't get no better than this. Our youth advisory, actually, we talked about a lot of things you guys are doing here, and there was not anything bad said. We're really happy. This is like, heaven sent for us foster youth and alums, youth that have, been adopted or wanting to be adopted. So just keep doing what you guys are doing, and I promise you, I feel so positive for the youth that are coming through foster care right now, because there's a lot of things coming through. So keep at it. Thank you.